Hello people, Niko here, and today we will be talking about these three obnoxious words that men and women love telling each other. We will talk about love a bit, how it's seen in the eyes of men and in the eyes of women, and how such things should be applied to dating and how things should be perceived by the other person and how they are actually perceived. I have been called manipulative in the previous video, and I want to thank that person for calling me that because I always strive for greatness. Your observations seem to be right on the money there. My character is quite manipulative and I have worked hard in order to achieve that, so thank you for that. Another comment as to me not producing videos, since I'm running out of ideas it seems. Thank you, but no thank you. I will continue to produce videos until you guys are fucking fed up with me. You need to understand that I need to keep my mind preoccupied with certain things as it keeps me quite sane. This week and the coming weeks are going to be quite miserable for me, so I will try and do stupid things and produce content that keeps my mind in a state of bliss. And I only reach that stage if I am actually quite active. Thank you for your understanding though. So without further ado guys, I love you. In the previous two videos, we spoke about the importance of the frame and the importance of not showing any emotional vulnerability. Now, when it comes to relationships, we're jumping forward into the conclusion or the win, that is, the penultimate moment where a man and a woman stare at each other's eyes and feeling vulnerable as all hell, they tell each other, I love you. The question is, who is going first, who is going second? What if she doesn't tell me I love you back? What if he doesn't tell me that he loves me back? Why are these three words so important to people? I mean, a smarter person than I will say that love is friendship that has caught fire. It is quiet understanding, mutual confidence, sharing and forgiving. It is loyalty through good and bad times. It settles for less than perfection and makes allowances for human weaknesses. This particular quote has been taken from Anne Landis. The most important concept for love is those last words. It settles for less than perfection and makes allowances for human weakness. Therefore, it goes without saying that if this quote also stands true, a flower cannot blossom without sunshine and a man cannot live without love. This quote, by the way, was taken from Max Muller. Then a man must need love in his life. This love will allow him to be weak and will make allowances for a less than perfect human such as himself in order to be loved. It will also make allowances for a less than perfect human, the female partner, to coexist in a quiet bliss with her man for an eternity, I guess. But what I have spoken about so far is the importance of frame and the importance of controlling the interactions and keep your emotions under strict control and not over display them. If these observations stand true, and in my experience they do, then it must be the case that love must be impossible, especially in the sense that the first quote that I have used describes it. Love allows a man to be vulnerable and exposes his weaknesses, particularly his infatuation with that one female who has now been placed on a pedestal and on occasion over the man's own life. Unfortunately, me expressing my disbelief over the actual existence of love as it's portrayed and mythicized by people across the globe, I get the occasional commenter that expresses his or her contempt over my opinions on the matter. If you have a problem understanding why I hold such an opinion, then you have trouble grasping the differences between the sexes and also the unequal distribution of love that happens again because of the differences in those sexes. I have produced a video on this very issue, therefore access it in the cards above in order to see exactly what I'm talking about. Therefore, if true love is impossible as a concept, then why do I mention it here? The key thing to understand is that love, as is advertised today and distributed in the form of films and TV shows, is something that is potentially damaging to a man. An I love you, spoken too soon or spoken at all, creates a concept of reliance of that one person to another person. It speaks about the weakness of that individual. Of course, there are occasions where the feelings of infatuation have often been so strong for me that I did say I love you to girls as well, but I never confused that love for one person to the love that I hold for myself, or friends or family members. This is an important distinction to make. I don't necessarily believe that saying I love you to a woman is necessarily the worst thing that you can possibly do, but falling knee-deep in love with a person is absolutely the worst thing that you can possibly do with regards to maintaining your relationship. I remember saying to ex-girlfriends that I'm not going to use my words in order to express to you how I feel about you. My actions should speak louder than my words ever will. Because I always thought of actions as the way that men expressed their emotions. Of course, as I grew up a bit more, I realized my ability to speak my mind to the point where I did not feel awkward for saying I love you was also something that was possible. But if the question arose from partners at the time, do you love me? I would always answer, of course I do, but I don't know why you need me to say it. I have not used the of course I do or any words for that matter since I became a MGTOW, of course, and I don't think I ever will from now on. I believe that better words are suited for expressing your feelings to another person. I believe I respect you is a lot better than I love you. I don't think that having feelings for women is necessarily bad, but the word I love you, as the first definition states, it's showing that person that your love is unconditional. You will love and adore that person no matter what. And to be at a point of strength, you need to understand that such a thing does not exist. A woman will never unconditionally love you. You're not her son. Therefore, if you understand, at least conceptually, that a woman will never unconditionally love you, then you must understand that you should never unconditionally love her. A common story within the manosphere is, I loved my wife and daughter more than life itself, and that woman ended up betraying me. She took away everything from me, even though I spent all of my time and effort caring for her and my child. And this story occurs in relationships as well, where men become the sacrificial animals in the altar of the golden uterus. This is quite unfortunate, but many of the guys out there think of women as helpless creatures that are in need for attention and affection. Providing the woman with all these things gives your life meaning almost, and it gives you something to do. You hope that the favor, the effort will be returned to you, only to find that this is indeed not the case. The fact of the matter is that I don't see women as helpless. I think they have a good deal of things going on for them. That, along with the government assist that many of them get, they are definitely not helpless. Therefore, I feel no obligation in order to hand over my own self-determination and power, which occurs almost immediately by uttering those three words. I mean, honesty of feelings is one thing, but blatant admission of weakness is another thing. Right about here, I would say that people may tell me that love is not weakness because it may give you strength in order to navigate the world and work harder and achieve more. And I would say to those people that that may be so, but it gives you, above everything, an obligation. And as men, we think less of ourselves. We think we deserve almost the punishment that we get, the reduced life expectancy that comes from working a stressful job and finding no time to take care of yourself. We're telling on ourselves when we think of someone as weak and potentially in need of our love and affection. We're projecting our inner weakness to that other person, and we're helping them in the hope that they will return the favor at some point in time. And they rarely do. A fundamental aspect of understanding this power dynamic of love is understanding what love means for us and what it means for women. When you understand that you are seen as a human doing and not a human being, and that women will fall in love with the image of you rather than the real you, the you that exists outside the realm of simple actions and a facade of indifference and pure power, and then you understand that the inner you, the one behind the mask, is not what a woman loves. Whereas you might be thinking of sticking around through thick and thin because you love that person, the reality is not the same when women fall in love. A change in yourself and in your character may mean a complete change of the persona that she fell in love with. You will hear women speak of words like, you have changed. And yes, I mean ideally, the real you should be strong, emotionally open, able to experience fully the life around you. But if the real you is a person who feels inside that he is indeed weak, that his emotions of sadness and guilt go rampant inside, then you have not gone through the process of fully exploring yourself and understanding that you are not held accountable to any standards. You haven't fully explored your emotions, and you have not come to terms with who you have been all your fucking life. Ideally, expressing the emotion of love should be something that you're only able to express not out of guilt, not out of weakness, not as an apology to the person that you were before, with the hope that you will be better, but love should be expressed as an emotion of strength over your capacity to be able to take on not just the world, but also have room in your life for love. A person that loves another person understands and cares about that person, but is not willing to be the sacrificial ram for another person's shortcomings. Our parents loved us, or the majority of us at least, and they helped us not just with positive reinforcement, but with negative too. A person who loves is a person who is able to push another person towards a direction that is better for them, and not simply take the mistakes of others or the work of others on his own shoulders to simply carry them through life, free of charge. Love, as I said before, is impossible to exist in an equal measure between a man and a woman. I don't believe expressing your love is a strong statement to be making towards that woman, or one that you can justify, especially when a lot of us are simply trying to make it through life. But love can be provided from a place of power. It can be accepted and reciprocated only when respect is in place. And unfortunately, the men who too willingly declare their love to women or to other people are not the men who respect themselves first. And it shows. Therefore, if you take one thing from this video, take this. Love, as I see it, or as people declare it in the game sense of the word, is often seen as weakness. But I believe love can be expressed from a point of strength. But in order to be able to love from the point of view of a man, you need to have your priorities straight. You need to have no need for the other person, but rather it needs to be a rational conclusion between two people who care about each other, respect each other, and choose to be with each other. But inherently, those people do not need each other. Love out of need is no love at all. Thank you very much for listening.